Hello, hello. Welcome to Mistakes Were Made. Today we are going to do our budget recap for the first pay period of January, so the 1st through the 15th, and let's just dive right in and see what the numbers have to say. Zooming in, there we go. Okay, so a lot of the information that we have here, we knew the info ahead of time, so there's not a lot of surprises. For example, nothing changed with income, which, is a good thing, I guess, but also a bad thing because that does mean we didn't have any Etsy orders during this time period. But at least we know what the numbers are, and can go from there. So, no numbers changing. The total income ended up being $45,28.98 as we predicted. Now, there are going to be some slight changes to the recurring monthly bills. This one is annoying because it's always off by a penny. So $874.99 for the mortgage, but everything else here is the same until we get to the water bill. That was actually a little bit less at $126.96. And then this was the same as well, as was the healthcare payment. So we are going to do a little bit of calculations since there were some slight differences. So $874.99 plus $15.49 plus 11. Oh my gosh, that's loud. 99 plus 129.25 plus 126.96 was 255.75. Oh, I almost forgot the healthcare piece. Plus 206.28 gives us a total of 1620.71. Okay. And then we are going to subtract that 4528.98 from it, and that means we have a remaining income balance of $2,908.27. All right, so for this section, we're just going to note the $200 for now. Everything else that would go in this area is a calculation after we've gone through our standard budget portion. So we're going to have just $200 there, and we will subtract that, which is easy math. So it's going to be $2708.27. All right, now I'm going to just go through here really quickly and mark out the items that we don't cover during this pay period. Again, not an area that we tend to have a lot of changes, but we definitely did have some overspending. Can you guess which category? You might be surprised. No. Is that how you're supposed to do like the teaser stuff? Well, unsurprisingly, at least to me, we did actually end up going over in grocery. We had the absolute best of intentions of sticking to the kind of haphazard budget amount that we were able to cobble together between what was left of some Christmas money. What else did we add into there? Christmas money, what was left of the actual $100 that we ended up spending at Costco, and then the money that was left from, oh my gosh, what is that? From the licenses, because we aren't funding that envelope at the moment, we were able to put it into groceries. So between those three, I think we had something like $64, which is less than normal, of course. And the intent absolutely was to stay under that, and we incredibly failed. And not only did we incredibly fail, but we actually went significantly over, because normally we would have had $100 and we spent $33.49 over. So, well, no, I guess we were just shy of being over the $100. It was very close, I remember. But yeah, I should have known that, best intentions and everything. Where grocery is concerned, it doesn't always go correctly. Anyway, let's get this added up. We have 100 plus 25 plus 50 plus 50 plus 100 plus 5 plus 233.49 plus 15 plus 11 plus 125 plus 20. This actually is supposed to say 20, not 200, which puts us at, and I guess I could have just done the math instead of using the calculator, 734.49. Okay, and so we're going to subtract that from our 2708.27, which leaves us with a remaining balance of $1,973.78. Alrighty, so now we're moving on over to the debt section. We are just going to transcribe that total over here again. We will deal with this section in just a little bit. Now, this is probably the most disappointing section in a while, because I very, very much went over my budget. Not by a little bit, by what I consider a significant amount. It was $59.73 at the end of the day. So, let me put it this way. Being over by $29.73, that dollar amount isn't a lot in the grand scheme of things. But when you're looking at it based on, well, how much was I supposed to spend, I almost doubled what I was supposed to spend. And really, for me, it's not even the dollar amount that is important. It's kind of what it represents. And I'll explain what I mean by that. So most of this overage, actually, yeah, all of the overage and some of the $30 that I had to spend ended up being spent on an insidious little thing that is very, very good at taking your money without you thinking about how much you're spending. And I'm talking about those blasted mobile games. I don't know how I found this mobile game. I don't remember if somebody is like, hey, I've tried this game and it was fun, or if I saw like an ad and I was like, let me go try it. Doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, I did go ahead and try this game, and I've enjoyed playing it. It's not my normal style of game that I would play, but like many other games, it has, you can get little boosts or free this. I mean, it's not free. I guess I should say extra things if you pay for them. And it's really sneaky because it'll be a 99-cent cost, or $1.99, or maybe $2.99, or even $4.99. And those things, especially when you're looking at like 99 cents and $1.99, it can be really easy for that to add up and add up quickly, because dollar amounts that small, I feel like sometimes they don't really register. And they certainly didn't for me. I was into the game, and I'd get to a point where I couldn't go any further, and I'm like, super frustrated, and it's like, oh well, here, 99 cents, now I can keep playing. and you do it over and over again, not really thinking about it, and the fact that those 99 cents do add up. It's that death by 1,000 cuts. And so yeah, basically, what it represents to me is that impulse buying, and that buying without thought, the not paying close attention. Now, obviously, these games, they do have, high flying things that you can buy that are like $39.99, $49.99, $99.99. Those are really easy to be like, whoa, that's a ridiculous amount to spend and avoid. But boy, it is so easy to just kind of disregard the spending at those lower amounts. And then later, when you're, looking at it a little bit more closely, when you're looking in your bank account, for example, and you just see 99 cents, 99 cents, $1.99, 99 cents, 99 cents, and you realize how much you've actually racked up, it can be telling and kind of scary, just how easy it is to do that. So the dollar amount, like I said, I'm not really all that concerned because it's not big money. But it's the activity and how easily and quickly I was able to fall back into poor habits or bad habits again. And, I've said it a few times before through this process. This whole thing has been a complete mind change or mindset change for us. And you can't change and get out of a habit overnight. Now, granted, we have been at this for over a year, but on the flip side, we had been, spenders, without thought for many, 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 many years. And that's how we got into the trouble that we were in. So like I said, it's more what it represents than the actual money. Now, of course, I'm also disappointed because I know any overages that we have does have an effect on our ability to pay our debts off as quickly as we would like as well. So there are multiple consequences for overages besides, acknowledging, what, you aren't perfect. Things happen. But again, I don't want to make excuses either. So what are we doing about this? Well, I do really like the game. It's called Last War Survival, just as an FYI. I do enjoy the game. What I am going to do is I'm going to keep playing it because there's not a problem as long as I'm staying within my budget. But if I find myself falling into that same trap where my interest in getting further in the game gets, overrides the self-preservation of our money and our debt reduction plan, then that will be a problem. And so it will tell me that, as much as I would like to feel like I have control over my spending, and as much as I feel like I have made progress, this game is a problem and it'll be deleted. Now, I don't think it's an issue as long as I stay within the budget, because this is my guilt-free spending. I can spend it on whatever I want to spend it on. But once it gets over this, if I'm spending beyond that, then that's the sign that the game's got to go. So anyway, there's that. Now let's do our subtract. We've got 1973.78 and subtract 59.73. Which leaves us at 1914 Alligator Street. Actually, 05, but I also think it was like 1814 Alligator Street. I can't remember. It's one of those like double Dutch or hand slapping game, whatever. I am not going to get distracted. Next, we have the $100 for the newest gardening season. I don't know if you guys are interested in hearing about, what I plan to do, the seeds that we're looking at or the plants that we're looking at trying to grow, or having any gardening specific content shared. I'm really kind of ambivalent either way. I'm going to be doing the activities if it's something that you guys would be interested in being kept abreast of, or having dedicated videos for, I can see what I can do about that. I did have a gardening channel at one point. It wasn't very good. And I definitely decided I was going to move away from doing that, simply because I still don't feel comfortable being in front of the camera. But, I do have some experience with plopping my camera down, or my phone down, and burying seeds while the phone is watching. So let me know if that's something that would be interesting to you guys. If not, I will not have any hurt feelings. So do not worry. Just let me know. All right, so now we are left with 1814. Hey, I should have made that little reference now instead of earlier. Yeah, I ruined it. So 1814.05. As we can see, unfortunately, that does mean our previous expectation and goal is not going to be met. And so we are going to have to make some adjustments. All right. Now, the one thing that we are not going to change is the $100 for the job loss savings. So that is going to stay intact, which leaves us with 1714.05. I think it's pretty obvious where we should go from there. We're going to do $1,700. I shouldn't say we're going to. We did do $1,700 for the car loan. The emergency fund is 14, and then the buffer rollover ended up being 5 cents. So let's do some updating here. So here we are going to do $14, and then we did the 100 for the cushion, and this was 05 for the cents. And then last but not least, I mean, it's not terrible. It is only a loss of $50 for the debt reduction part of things. It certainly could have been worse. It certainly could have been better. But that is still a fantastic amount to be able to put towards the car loan. And if you saw our budget with me for the second pay period, since this is a magic month for Mr. M, we are really, really looking forward to being able to make an even grander impact on the car loan. Now, obviously, stuff like this can't be happening, or else it's a problem, and it'll just take us longer to meet our goals. But the other side of that is, if we continue to have these kinds of problems, and I'm saying we just because it does affect us as a family, but if I'm having spending problems or Mr. M's having spending problems, then not only are we affecting our ability to reduce our debt as quickly as we'd like to, but we're also putting on hold other goals that we have. And probably even more importantly, I'm not even going to say probably, even more importantly, it means that we could slip back into bad habits and completely jeopardize our whole budget plan, which is not something that we want to do when we are looking at having only one income in the very, very near future. We will have a limited stash of money. Yes, it's a good stash. We have been able to save quite a bit, but it is a limited stash of money in order to augment the income side of things while my job is no longer in existence. And frankly, and I've said this multiple times, it just doesn't seem like it's a great time to be out of work. So many people seem to be struggling to find jobs, particularly ones that pay enough to support a family, and that's just, it is what it is. So, those are all the things that kind of go through my mind when our budget is not adhered to because we've done overspending situations. Sometimes we have overspent very specifically. That I'm not nearly as concerned about because there was a plan in the overspend action. But things like this where it's just kind of mindless and then suddenly you're like, oh crap, what the heck? How did I spend this money? And it going to something that, yes, gave me joy at the time, but it's not super tangible. And I'm trying to get away from that kind of thing. So anyway, I do not want to belabor the point. I am very, very excited, though, that we have still been able to make a big payment towards the car loan. We are making excellent progress. And of course, the more we can do, the sooner we can do it, then the better off we are if things with the job end sooner than we would like. So, all right. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I do appreciate you taking the time. If you have any feedback, questions, suggestions, things like that, please note those down below. I do read every single one of them and I try to respond in some way. And I guess that's about it. So I hope we'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.